We just got back from a cruise to northern Iceland on board the Costa Favolosa, and today we're going to give you another review of this incredible ship. Now, this video is not our usual long and detailed view of our Costa ships like the Favolosa, and if you want to see what the entire review looks like, you can check that video up here. Instead, we're going to be focusing on some of the aspects of this cruise that made it different. Also, something happened to us during the cruise, and we'll report how the situation was dealt with. Stay tuned. Hi everyone, I'm Rick.
And I'm Andrea, and today we will give you an update review of the Costa Favolosa. But first, if you like travel-related videos like this one, now is a great time to hit the subscribe button down below so you never miss any future videos.
Right, exactly. So, let's begin, right?
Yeah. We were first on board of the Costa Favolosa in September 2023, and we had a great time on board.
Yes, that was a Costa Club cruise.
Yes. In this video, we'll give you some updates about the Costa Favolosa on our latest trip in July 2024. We'll be focusing on what was different and most importantly, what was better this time and what was better on the last cruise. And the difference might surprise you. So let's begin with our cruise. This cruise on board of the Costa Favolosa was a 23 days cruise round trip from Hamburg, Germany to Iceland, Greenland and Scotland. The itinerary was really amazing, and we decided to book this sailing because we were really looking forward to visit some of these remote and very unusual areas.
Exactly.
In particular, we were really intrigued to visit Greenland, which is a place not commonly visited by anybody, actually.
Yeah, I don't know anybody who's ever been to Greenland other than the people on the ship.
Yeah. For this cruise, we booked a balcony cabin and we paid 8,666 euros with all-inclusive package. This comes down to 188 euros per person per day. The price was a bit higher than usual Costa cruise, but the area where we're sailing is usually quite pricey. The ship was in perfect shape. Everything was working like a Swiss watch on board, so we were really surprised.
Yep.
So now it's time to vote for the cruise, and I think they deserve a 5 anchors out of 5. The itinerary was very interesting, the ship was fantastic, and the price was fair. So what's your vote, Rick?
Yeah, 5 out of 5, absolutely. And there is one thing to note. We paid for our cruise.
Yeah, absolutely.
You heard it. It was not sponsored. Nobody gave us anything.
No.
Okay, so moving on to our next item on board the Costa Favolosa to review, and it's the cabin. So our cabin was on deck 6 midship. I mean, you couldn't get a better area. Inside the cabin was, it was a normal Costa balcony cabin. It was very simple with no frills, but I would say very efficient. There was the usual ugly brown couch, but this one was in very good shape. On our previous Costa Favolosa sailing, of course, we were spoiled by the grand suite and the bidet, of course. So we can't really compare the two, but we were very pleased by this cabin and most importantly, the cleanliness of the cabin.
Yeah.
In fact, this was probably the cleanest cabin we had ever experienced on any of our cruises, on any cruise line, Absolutely. And I would have been happy to order room service and eat on the floor, though I didn't. Okay, also our cabin steward, he was also very good, very efficient, proactive, and always friendly and smiley, right?
Absolutely.
Now, the bathroom was the usual minimalist Costa bathroom, but it did the job, and it was always, of course, clean and tidy. We always had plenty of towels and fresh bathrobes, so we were really happy.
Absolutely.
Okay, so time to vote for the cabin, and I think it deserves a 5 anchors out of 5. Andrea, your thoughts?
I do too think that the cabin deserved a 5 anchors out of 5. It was so clean and tidy. I was really happy with it. Also, I found that the bed really comfy, and I was able to sleep really well on board. So,
yeah, like pretty much any.
Even though the sun never set, so the light was coming in.
Well, that was something else.
Yeah. Now let's review another aspect of this amazing cruise ship, and we talk about cleanliness. So from the moment we stepped on board, we immediately noticed that the Costa Favolosa was incredibly clean. Every single area of the ship was spotless. The cleaning crew was constantly scrubbing, buffing, and swiping the ship.
Swiping?
Swiping.
Or swiffering.
Swiffering, I don't know. So one morning I stepped out of our cabin and I saw the housekeeping manager checking every single door threshold with his finger and asking the housekeeping team to dust them. So it's really crazy. We had never seen anything like this on any other ship. So let us tell you that we were really impressed by the ship's cleanliness.
Mm-hmm.
Not even during the pandemic we saw a ship this clean.
No.
Yeah. You might have guessed that my vote for cleanliness is a 5 out of 5 anchors, no doubt after there. So what's your vote, Rick?
Well, after this review and the one about the cabin, clearly you know that we value cleanliness. And for that I give it a solid 5 out of 5. It's probably the cleanest ship at sea right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on to our next item to review on board the Costa Favolosa, and we'll talk about the service. Service on board the Costa Favolosa was another very pleasant surprise. I think they threw every amazing crew member on board the ship. Everyone was well trained. At the bar, the service, efficient, friendly. At the pool, attendants were always out and smiling and helpful. And even though we didn't use the buffet, they too looked like they were very happy. In the main dining room, we had some fantastic servers and some that needed a little more training, in particular at the Club Bistro. That was the restaurant dedicated to Costa's best, passengers, the gold and platinum members. We had Neela, who was absolutely amazing. But unfortunately, she was so good that everybody only ever wanted to sit in her section, so it was really difficult to find a table there. The first sea day, we went to the main dining room around 12:30 for lunch. We ended up in somebody else's area, and the restaurant was packed, and we were assigned to this table. We had a junior server, and I gotta say, it took 2 hours for lunch. Now, we talked to the restaurant manager about this, and he told us that, don't worry, we will fix the problem for the rest of the cruise. Just come and see me the next day. So, in fact, the next day, he actually did something really funny. He took us to an empty area of the restaurant and assigned one waiter just for us. He didn't have to do that. It was pretty incredible, though. Yeah. And we were shocked and very thankful. And, of course, dinner happened in about 17 seconds. I mean, lunch. Right? Now, at dinner, we were lucky enough to be assigned the club restaurant, and because you watch our videos, you know that the club restaurant on Costa is dedicated to suite passengers, so we were very lucky. There, we had an amazing waitress. Her name was Mary, and hello, Mary, and she cared. You could totally tell. And at the same restaurant, we also saw, remember Arun?
He was an old friend of ours.
Exactly, and we had the privilege to serve with him on board the Costa Pacifica. And he immediately saw us and came and gave us a big hug, and we wanted to be assigned to his area because we already knew him, but unfortunately, his area was full. Yeah. Imagine. Now, he did come to say hello to us every night, and, that was really nice. Yeah. We were also incredibly happy to reconnect with our old friend Stephanie. Hello, Stephanie. She was the English host on board with whom we've sailed, several times and have since become very friendly. So, time to vote for service, and I have to say, even though we had a little snafu with, the restaurant, whatever, the problem was quickly resolved, which is very important, and of course, way better than expected, so thank you. So, guys, 5 out of 5 for service for me. Andrea, your thoughts?
No question that my vote for service is also a 5 out of 5 anchors, because everything was, really good.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on to our next item to review on board of the Costa Favolosa, and we talk about the food. Food on board the Costa Favolosa was really excellent as usual, but we noticed something a little different on this cruise compared to other cruises. On the menu, there were some dishes that we have never seen before on Costa.
Yep.
For example, they had eggs Benedict on the menu for breakfast. That was a very, very pleasant surprise.
Never
We
saw
did
that
not
before.
expect that.
No.
We don't know if this was due to the fact that the cruise was departing from Germany and had a majority of German passengers on board, or it was due to the fact that the head chef was an Austrian dude.
Maybe it was both. Maybe it was a bit of both, right?
Maybe. Either way, we are really happy to the choices of food and the quality of food and the presentation of food on the ship.
Yeah, I was even able to have my favorite Greek salad every single night as an appetizer.
Yeah, that was, he requested that, and no problem. Like we mentioned before, in all our Costa video reviews, the dessert on board were the Costa Favolosa were absolutely amazing, beautiful, and tasty. So, 2 thumbs up for that. So, time for vote for food, and my vote is a great 5 anchors out of 5, and no doubt there. So, what's your vote, Rick?
Yeah, like I said, I was able to get my favorite Greek salad that I've been eating for the last year on my diet. So how could I not give it a 5 out of 5 anchors, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so time to move on to our next aspect on board the Costa Favolosa to review, and that's the passengers. Now, this is a category that we've never really reviewed before because it has nothing to do with Costa.
Yeah.
But on this particular sailing, we immediately noticed that the type of passengers were different, right? On this sailing, it seemed like there was a lot of very seasoned cruisers. And most everyone was very, very polite and friendly, and passengers were happy to talk and compare their travel experiences from the past. Now, I don't know if it was due to the type of itinerary that attracts a more adventurous type of passengers, or one that has seen the Caribbean and the Mediterranean several times before. Maybe it was a combination of the two, right? However, we really were happy with our fellow passengers, of course, and we were incredibly happy to see even some old friends on board that we've met on previous cruises. And another thing that we noticed on this sailing that was very, very, unusual, I mean, it's becoming more usual now, is that passengers recognize us from this channel. So thank you. And many of them have researched the Favolosa, have researched Costa, and have made the bookings because they saw our videos. So thank you guys so much for coming up to us and saying hello. We love to see you on board and chat with you and meet you and all of the same. And we're not sure if we should vote for this category, but since I'm going to give it a 5 anchors out of 5, we're going to vote anyway. 5 out of 5. Okay, Andrea, what do you think?
Well, I was really happy to meet other people that have the bug for traveling and for cruising. Also, it was very refreshing to be able to sail with other passengers that were polite and respectful. So, a solid 5 out of 5 anchors for me, and hi to all the passengers that we know from previous cruises.
Exactly.
Moving on to our next item to review on board the Costa Favolosa, and we talk about excursions. One thing that we have noticed was that excursions on Iceland and Greenland are expensive, and we mean expensive. However, some of them were really good, and we deeply enjoyed them. One very important piece of advice that we want to give you, if you are thinking about taking a cruise to Iceland and Greenland, book your excursion as soon as possible, because they sell out really quickly, especially in Greenland, because there's not that many tour operators there. In fact, there was a particular excursion I want to do on the south coast of Iceland that I was not able to get because it was sold out almost immediately.
Well, it was sold out before you even got a chance, and we booked this like a year ago.
Yeah. On this particular cruise, the excursion team was very good, great actually I would say, well organized and trained, and all the excursions were very well run. However, the lines at the excursion desk were really insane.
Yeah, probably because everybody was trying to get into these amazing excursions, right?
So, time to vote for excursion, and my vote is a solid 5 out of 5. And what's the vote, Rick?
Yeah, excursions were amazing up there. I mean, how couldn't you give them a 5 out of 5 anchors, right? All right, so now it's time to move to a sad part of our cruise, and it's the disembarkation early. So exactly 7 days, after our first week on board the Costa Favolosa, we were in the port of Ísafjörður, Iceland, and we were 2 hours away from sailing to Greenland when we received some sad news about your dad.
Yep.
Admitted to the ICU. It was very serious, at the time of this recording. And we had to make a very quick decision and disembark. Luckily, we received the call before sailing away to Greenland, because if that was not the case, it would have taken about a week to get home.
Yeah.
No need to say that you went down to reception,
yeah,
and people were understanding, helpful, and very friendly.
Yeah.
They were able to quickly handle the situation, and they did everything that they could to help us out. And they even offered to book us flights, but I had already done that. The hotel manager came to say hello and ask if there was anything else that he could do to help, but unfortunately,
there was not much to do.
So
we are very thankful for this. It was very nice of him.
So time to draw some conclusions. As you might have noticed, the Costa Favolosa scored a perfect 5 out of 5 anchors in every category, and we might have to say that this is the best Costa ship that we've sailed on so far. Costa Toscana was the best cruise ever, and I have to say that this may be, it may be demoted. Actually, I'm not going to say it was demoted. I'm going to say that it's the same, that it was a tie. It was a tie for the best cruise ever, only because we were only on board 1 week, and this itinerary, this ship, could have been the best cruise ever. It had all of the hallmarks for that. But so I'm going to say it's a tie.
Everyone and everything on board was absolutely spot on, and we were having an amazing time. As we mentioned at the beginning of the video, we did not review every single aspect of the cruise because this was our second time on board the Costa Favolosa. And we wanted to focus our attention to what made this cruise particularly special. We are very, very sorry we could not continue our journey to Greenland and Scotland, but family is very important and comes first, and we had to come home, and that's the case.
Exactly. Now, in case you decide to book an Iceland or Greenland cruise, we highly recommend you to do it with Costa. We will probably
be on board.
Yes, probably next year, most likely. And don't hesitate, of course, to reach out if you have any questions.
And say hi.
Yes. Speaking of which, if you do have any questions,
leave a comment below. We'd love to hear back from you and answer your question.
And of course, as we mentioned before, if you do happen to see us on board and would like to say hi, we really love to meet you all.
In the meantime, we'll see you on our next video.
Ciao!